Hi everyone, welcome to this review. We're looking at the ES features on a 500 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So we have this uptrend that starts from yesterday, and within that trend there's these smaller trends which we'll go into as well. But within this uptrend here we got an overshoot that led to a break, and so that's basically the overall context right now. Is this whole downtrend is the break. We have these two small new high attempts, and so far we're getting a failure, currently making that second leg down. Waiting to see if we'll break this swing. So anyway, within this wider trend here, we have this uptrend. We have a small break, two attempts up to a new high, successfully made that new high. It immediately got very flat once it reached that measured move there. And then it attempted to reverse. It made a couple attempts here, and then a larger attempt, which led to a larger failure. That failure launched up and gave us this uptrend, which has a clear break. And then we have these two legs up attempting a new high. And the reason that I have them drawn like that, these legs, and the reason I'm combining all of these legs together into two legs is because when this uptrend got a break initially, this is the first attempt at a new high. Now, this first attempt at a new high is an uptrend within itself. It's its own valid uptrend. And so it got a break right here. So uptrend, break, and then I should say a two-legged break, and then two legs up to a new high. And so this uptrend right here played out with a break and two legs up to a new high, and then we got two attempts to reverse, which failed. As soon as it gets back above the EMA, that's when it's pretty clear you're getting a failure, and that's why you drag the second leg over to this swing right here. So you basically combine this uptrend playing out with a break and a new high, you combine all of that into one, and then after the reversal attempt fails, you copy over the second leg. And so that's how the bigger picture legs form. You can see, the uptrend got a break, and this is two nearly perfect measured legs up to a new high before reversing back down. So anyway, price met the measured move, or it came within a tick of it, and also, of course, overshot this wider uptrend here. So overshoots tend to lead to breaks. They tend to lead to very sharp reactions because of the tendency to lead to breaks. And so we spike down here, we get this downtrend, break, new low, the downtrend plays out, we get this reversal attempt, very quickly fails. So we don't get two clear attempts here. We get the first attempt to reverse, and then that second attempt is within this chop, and then it fails. And so as soon as it fails and starts pushing low here, especially when it gets past this swing, that's when it's clear that you need to combine this trend and the break to new low into one. We just drag it from the top down to the low. That failed reversal attempt is the bigger picture break, and so then the second leg starts from there. So again, this uptrend played out into an overshoot of the wider uptrend, which is leading to a reversal on down. And you can see here, even though we have these two legs, it's still one channel on a bigger picture. So we have this measured move in play. We have a break of this trend. So downtrend, break, we can expect prices to attempt a new low. So there's many reasons to be thinking bearish at this point, because the downtrend can easily play out with a new low. The down measured move is still in play. We just had an overshoot. Overshoots lead to breaks. And also just in general, coming off one side of a channel tends to lead to reaching the other side. That's how channels work. They go side to side. And so anyway, when price is starting to push on down here, what I want to see is a clear failed second entry. We can get a failed second entry under the EMA for a short to reach this measured move. Doesn't quite offer anything good here. It just pushes below, gets very choppy, makes a lower high, and then continues lower. And so it doesn't offer anything great, but it does make two clear legs down to a new low, and it reaches that measured move where it begins attempting to reverse, ends up getting very choppy around this area. So really there's really just nothing great at first for today. But then once we got out of this wider channel here, we got a break. We continued in this downtrend, faded the overnight high, and then that, of course, reached this key entry point, which I'll just show one more time here. So we have this wider channel. Price reached the key entry point, push above the EMA very quickly. That did not, work out, broke. Still within this wider channel though, attempts to play out here, quickly fails, after reaching the channel high. And then finally we get a break of the channel, and that's when we get our first trade here. So initially what we got was this two-legged break, so clear, two legs up, and then, excuse me, And then I wanted to see some bearish reaction before entering, but I also didn't want to enter. I wanted to enter as close as I could to the measured move, not entering too far below. And so I wanted to see, but I wanted to see a clear bearish reaction before entering, because even though this uptrend has a break and we can expect prices to attempt a new high, and it's a two-legged break from this right here, it also overshot this, and now while it might seem like retesting this previous level would be good for going short, and that how this measured move is right into that, but the way that I'm thinking about it here is this channel right here, this wider one, overshot, and overshoots like we were just talking about tend to lead to breaks. And so I just really wanted to see some bearish confirmation before entering short in case this overshoot does lead to a break. And so basically when price had that initial reaction right there, that's when I liked it. I ended up having a little bit of initial trouble entering. I got one of those things that pops up. I didn't even read it, but it's just a gray box that pops up. And then I click the X, and then I managed to get in up here. And so I actually got in at a way better price than I initially wanted to, as you can see, way above the measured move. But either way, I wanted to get out around this swing right here, just the support that's forming. So that's 1-to-1. Price reaches this, makes a double bottom, then it continues higher. It makes a second bigger picture leg. You can see here I have this marked as missed. When I got out of this first trade here, I just wasn't quite focused up right after, and so I missed the trade that happened right after. But we continue lower here. It's a clear two-legged break. So let me just explain this whole overall area, and I'm gonna break it down a little bit more detailed than I just did. So this uptrend has a break down to here. This is the first attempt at a new high, and the reason that this is the first attempt and not up here is because this is the first leg that actually breaks this structure, this channel, which is the break of the wider channel. Okay, so in order for the first new high attempt for this wider uptrend to count, it needs to break this channel, because this channel is the break. Everything contained within this channel is the break. Even if it made multiple more swings up, continuing lower, none of it would count as a new high attempt. It's all just part of the break. And so anyway, we got our first attempt up here, second attempt at a new high here, got that reaction I wanted, got in, got out around here. Price makes that new low attempt, so downtrend break, first attempt at a new low, and then very quickly it pushes back up at that double bottom, makes the bigger picture two legs up. So even though we have two clear legs there that I entered on, price couldn't get past this swing, and so it's pretty clear that we're getting this bigger picture two-legged move higher. So it's a two-legged break of the downtrend right here, and it's also two attempts at a new high for the wider uptrend. It's two bigger picture attempts, and so I like that. After it gives that bearish reaction, that looks good to just ride to the other side. Again, I didn't even see it until after it already passed, but it's whatever. So, and by the way, when an overshoot happens and then it makes two big attempts to reverse and then it can't break, it doesn't lead to a break, you'll often just want to extend the channel, because it's usually just telling you that the channel is widening. And so anyway, from here we have a brand new high. So downtrend, two-legged break, first attempt at a new low, second attempt at a new low. That's technically what's happening there. And so after that second attempt at a new low occurs, you can see it's clearly holding on to that previous swing, basically like a double bottom, and then that leads into a two-legged reversal attempt. So when a trend like this plays out, or I should really say this trend plays out with a break to a new low, this trend also plays out with a break to a new low. It's a smaller picture, but both cases are true. And so after the trend plays out, you want to see two really good reversal attempts with a very clear bearish reaction holding on to something, which you just don't get here. And so if price had pushed a little bit lower, we could have gotten these two same legs fully holding underneath the range here, and that would have been great for a short if we could have got something closing out of the channel. And it just didn't quite set up well here. The first leg is already getting choppy, it's already touching the range, getting very sideways. The second leg basically starts from within that chop right there, and so you're just fading right back in. It's not great. It's not a clear rejection of anything. It's basically, for all I know, I could go short right here, but I'm expecting it to break back out at that point. It might fade right back in and stop me out. So I don't want to enter on anything short right there. Price continues lower. We make another leg down. You can see it basically acts like this: downtrend, two-legged break, and then, since this reversal just failed, we now have to combine these two legs into one, copy the second leg over to that swing there, and then we have this clear two-legged move down, and we got a perfect measured move reaction off of that. And so anyway, price reaches this measured move down here. On the way down, we can look for shorts on the way down. There is a second entry right there, pushing way above the EMA, not really holding on anything, definitely not worth taking for me. Reaches the measured move. That leads to a very strong spike in the opposite direction. It leads to a break of the wider downtrend. And so at this point, we have a downtrend with a break, and we can expect prices to attempt a new low. And so we start making that new low attempt here. You can see we get that initial attempt, it kind of just stays sideways, and then finally we get a larger drop. That's our real significant new low attempt. Couple legs back, breaking it, second attempt. So at this point right here, this downtrend has a break, 2 attempts at a new low with a strong failure, which is also, since it was a double bottom and not pushing through, it's also giving us a clear two-legged move higher here. So this uptrend has a break and 2 legs up to a new high, successfully made the new high, went way past the measured move, shot back below the measured move, showing that the measured move level is important for the bears, but it was also strong enough bullishly to make that new high, only to return bearish after making the new high. And so I really like how it made the new high and got back below this measured move level. That looked great to enter on as soon as it closed below the EMA right there. That just looked amazing as soon as it happened. And so that was pretty quick. It went sideways for a bit, but then dropped down pretty fast. And so basically what this is here is a two-legged break for this downtrend. Now, you'll basically need to combine these legs, but that's technically what it is here. You have a downtrend with a two-legged break, and then first attempt at a new low, second attempt at a new low. And as you can see, we've got these 2 nice legs down, perfectly measured before reversing higher. And so, you're not always going to reach these larger measured moves. Sometimes, as price is pushing up towards that second leg, it's going to have a big correction, and then you're going to end up getting a measured move from the 2 attempts rather than from the main leg. So again, this is the main leg, break, this is your first attempt higher, this is your second attempt higher. Now, if price didn't have a bearish reaction, then, it would have been whatever. If it had spiked on through and continued up to that measured move, then maybe we could have gotten something after it reacts to that. But, whenever you have a measured move like this in play, but also a wider one, and you're not sure whether to take this one or wait for this one, you just got to wait and see how price reacts to it. In this case here, I didn't buy it, or excuse me, I should say short. I didn't go short on it as soon as it reaches the measured move. Now, there are situations where you can do that. I really didn't even do that today. I basically did that here, but I still waited on an initial reaction. So there are times when you can do that, but this is not one of those times because you have this wider measured move in play, and so that's why I like it after we get that bearish reaction. So anyway, price continues lower here. We get this first leg down, goes straight down to the lows of this range, fades back in. This is a good spot for a failed second entry, push up, a couple legs back. The reason that I say that is because I'm going to draw it out first just so I can explain it better and just show a visual. So basically, when this downtrend has a break, that of course would also be fading back up into the overnight, or excuse me, not the overnight, back into the range low. So we fade back up, the downtrend has a break. If we get 2 attempts at a new low right here, that would be a failed second entry on the other side of the count. And so we'd be able to go long because not only is it a failed second entry after a range fade, it's also a new low failure for this downtrend. So if a downtrend gets a break, 2 attempts at a new low, bullish reaction, then you can look to get long on that new low failure in order to get in on this second leg up right here. As you can see, that does not happen in this case. It just fades back up, gets choppy, shoots right back out. But I'm just saying in this area, this is what we would like to see. This is what I'm looking for basically. And So anyways, as you can see, price shoots on down, goes straight on down to that measured move, perfectly measured before reversing on higher. And so, that's kind of where we're at right now. So we're just going to have to wait and see what price does. It's always good to draw out these wider trend lines just in case price reacts to them. Sometimes price cuts through them like butter. Sometimes price has a very strong reaction, and then it can go into a surprising channel. But what I'd like to see from here, considering this great reaction to that measured move, is I just want to see price push on up and then go into a failed second entry, kind of like the other one I just drew. And that can give us a great long, because if we push up, get a couple legs back, failed second entry right after a trend playing out in a range that's clearly fading back in, that can offer us a great long on a reversal entry. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I really hope this video helped out. I kind of wish that it felt kind of slow today. I mean, I got these two, missed that one, but maybe that's just me. Today I wasn't really trading the NQ. Usually I trade the NQ as well. I don't go over it as much on YouTube now, but just for the sake of time. But today I was just trading the ES, kind of had to multitask and do a couple other things at the same time. But anyway, I really appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.